In the year 1944, the world was at war. Millions of men and women were fighting to protect their countries and loved ones. One of the many battles fought during this time was the Battle of Mindoro, a small yet significant island in the Philippines. The Japanese had taken control of Mindoro, using it as a strategic base to launch attacks against the Allied forces. The Allies knew that if they could seize this island, they could use it as a launching pad for their own attacks. As dawn broke on December 15, 1944, the Allies began the assault on the island. The sound of gunfire echoed through the air as troops landed on the beaches. The Japanese were not going to give up the island without a fight. The first wave of troops encountered heavy resistance as the Japanese launched a fierce counterattack. Gunfire and explosions filled the air as both sides fought for every inch of ground. The sound of artillery could be heard in the distance as battleships bombarded enemy positions. The battle raged on for hours. As more and more troops landed on the island, the Japanese put up a valiant defense. But the overwhelming firepower of the Allies eventually proved too much. The Allied forces slowly advanced, pushing the Japanese back. The battle was not without its losses. However, many brave soldiers lost their lives during the fight, and the brutality of the conflict left scars on those who survived. As the sun began to set, the Allied forces had secured most of the island. The Japanese had retreated to the hills, hiding in caves and tunnels. The Allies knew they had to flush them out, but it would not be easy. The next few days were filled with intense fighting as the Allies hunted down the remaining Japanese troops. Each cave and tunnel had to be searched, and the Japanese would often fight to the death rather than surrender. The terrain was treacherous, and progress was slow. Many soldiers lost their lives during this phase of the battle, but the Allies persevered. They knew that every cave they cleared brought them one step closer to victory. Finally, on December 26, the last of the Japanese resistance was crushed. The island of Mindoro was now firmly in the hands of the Allies. The battle had been won, but at a great cost. Over 400 Allied soldiers lost their lives during the Battle of Mindoro. Many more were injured, some critically. The Japanese suffered even greater losses, with over 2,000 soldiers killed. The Battle of Mindoro was a turning point in the war. The Allied forces now had a valuable base from which to launch further attacks against the Japanese. It was an important strategic victory, but it came at a great cost. The bravery and sacrifice of those who fought in the Battle of Mindoro should never be forgotten. They risked everything to protect their country and loved ones, and their legacy lives on today. As we look back on the events of the past, we must remember the lessons learned from the Battle of Mindoro. We must never forget the price of freedom and the sacrifices made to achieve it. The courage and determination of those who fought in this battle will forever inspire us to be better, to do better, and to never give up hope.